Nosy neighbors, you know what to do. Go ahead and pull those blinds down, honey, and pull the curtain to the side. My blinds and my curtain is already doing this thing. My blinds is open. My curtain is pulled. I got my little teacup, my coffee cup, whatever you want to call it. It says everything is 50% nowadays. Belize, that's where I'm from. Somebody gave me this cup. I don't know who, but thank you. As you can see, honey, I still have the cup. Listen here. This is water. Somebody had messaged me and asked me if I was drinking Tito's because that's like my favorite vodka when I was shooting my nosy neighbor videos. And honey, I do not drink on the job. Okay. This is not a job really, but you know, it's like a fun thing, but I don't drink like when I'm doing this nosy neighbor video thing. I want to have clear thoughts when I'm speaking. Anyway, so it's water in my cup. Let's jump right into it, y'all. First, so we can get it out the way. I know y'all are probably tired of hearing about it, but I am not tired of talking about it. It's Derek Jackson. Where the hell is he? Because I haven't heard anything. Listen here. This is not even really about him right now, but I want to know, for you people out there that date someone that is married, man, woman, whomever, if you're dating someone that's married, how comfortable are you in that relationship? Like, how secure do you feel in that relationship that they might not get back with their spouse? Like, do you feel secure that that relationship is totally cut off? What proof do you ask for to say, hey, wait a minute, how do I know you're really separated? Especially if they're living in the same house. How do you say, like, what kind of proof do you ask for? Seriously, I want to know because I don't know how this works. I have dated a married man once unintentionally, and it literally lasted 3 weeks after for 3 weeks. Once I found out that he was married, we had a conversation week one, we had a conversation week two, and week three, it was done. I was not sticking around because I'm not wasting my youth, honey. It is not going to happen. So I want to know, how do you date someone and be comfortable in that relationship knowing that they're married to someone else? This is my thing. I do not want to end up on one of those investigative discovery channels that a wife done ran up on me and shot me and killed me because I was having an affair with her husband. So that's the reason why I don't date people that are married. I don't date people that are in relationships. I am open and like, look, if you can't be open and out there and we can't do nothing, we can't go out for dinner or nothing because somebody might see us and all of our time is spent indoors, honey, I'm not the one that you want to date. We cannot date. Okay, it is just not going to happen. I don't, it sounds very, very stressful dating someone that is married, that it's kind of like, okay, I don't want my wife to know, I don't want my husband to know because it's going to cause a lot of problems. How do you feel comfortable with that? Like, does that make sense? I don't know. But if the man brings you home and have sex with you in his bedroom, does that give you a little bit more, like, make you feel a bit more comfortable? That you're like, okay, well, I went to your house and I had sex with you in your bed, so, I guess everything is okay. Honey, it is not okay until I have a key to your house that I could just come over whenever I want to. If I'm dating somebody that's married, that's what I want. I want your key. So I could just come and go as I please. That's all I'm saying. Because I will not date you. No, honey. Mm-mm. I love my life. I don't want a bullet in the back of my head. No, thank you. So moving on to the next one. Like I said, if you guys have a feedback or an opinion on how you date someone that's married or separated, whatever you want to call it, let me know. Give me some pointers. Put some pointers in there for the people that do want to date married people and don't know how to go ahead and do it. I'm not condoning adultery, honey. Don't say that, but I'm saying that it's difficult to date, I'm sure, when you're still married. At least for me, it would be. I can't even go there. The next topic that I wanted to discuss was this Quavo, the guy from Migos, and Saweetie, is that how you say her name? Look, so TMZ released this thing yesterday, and I reposted it on my Instagram, and I was just like, what the heck? Like, listen, I understood that she swung at him first. I get it. But the problem that I had with that is that she fell to the ground, and he was not even looking remorseful to, like, say, like, let me help her up. Like, maybe it wasn't intentional for her body to meet the ground, but the point is that her body met the ground, or the ground met her body. I don't know which one, how it went, but I'm just saying that he did not give her any help whatsoever. He was just kind of like, looked at her, he looked at the camera and was just like, okay, it is what it is. And I want to know, how the hell do TMZ get all of this footage? Like, who thought, Oh, let me review this camera. And they came up on this footage and sold it to TMZ. TMZ, what is y'all's secret? Anyway, is it okay for a man to strike a woman back? And he did not strike her back. I'm not saying he did, but I'm just saying I'm presenting a scenario. Is it okay for a man to strike a woman back if she has swung at him first? I will tell you this, honey. If a person, I don't care who it is, put their hands on my children, I'm going to do that time. And when I say time, I don't mean county jail time. I mean prison time. Because what I'm about to do is not about to be a misdemeanor charge. I'm going to let you know that right now. And I know it won't be because I've watched enough ID Investigative Discovery Channel to know the kind of crimes you can and can't commit. And you know what? That's just what it's going to be if you put your hands on my kids. Now, I tell my children all the time, you do not hit first, but you definitely have the right to defend yourself. That's all I'm saying. He could have put her in a chicken wing or something like that. You know what I mean? He could have done something, I guess. But I'm glad that she just fell to the floor and it wasn't anything aggressive, like a total like assault on her. I'm so happy that they're not together any longer because we don't have to have another Rihanna and Chris Brown situation because that would just be another disaster. It is never, ever, ever okay to put your hands on someone else. I will say that. But you do have to defend yourself. Whether you're a man or a woman, you have the right to defend yourself. Not because you're a woman, that's mean you don't have the right to get smacked back. You do not if you put your hands, if you put yourself in a man's position, you got to be prepared to be beaten like a man. I'm sorry. I know it sounds very, very harsh for a woman to say something like that, but you do not have the right to put your hands on someone. Do not think that you are exempt because you're a woman. Absolutely not. Just don't do it. Like, honey, or else you end up with a black eye and some knots. Because, not every man could be a gentleman. You know what I mean? To just let you just sit there and smack them or whatever you want to do because you're a female and because you weigh less. Don't do that. It's disrespectful. This next story is just super sad, and I am just so confused about how this whole thing happened. A 12-year-old kid in Florida, in Dade County, was walking home at 2:30 in the morning. You heard me correct. 2:30 in the morning, honey. He was walking home from his friend's house who lived 3 miles away. I am trying to figure out for the life of me, how does a 12-year-old walk home at 2:30 in the morning, 3 miles from his friend's house to get home? Now, listen here. If I leave my child in your care and something happens to my child, honey, I am doing that prison time. It's not going to be county time. It's going to be prison time. I left my child in your care. If my child was at your home and he left at 2:30 in the morning, what explanation can you give me? Listen here. I don't know how the little boy ended up out of the house. I just know that he was kidnapped, raped, and shot. He's still alive, thank God. But can you imagine the psychological trauma that child is going through? The nightmares, the PTSD. And I don't know if the house that he was at, if they knew that he left, I don't know if, listen here, honey. So sometimes, kids, they think they want to spend the night somewhere and then they really don't want to spend the night. Like when it's time for to go to sleep, they're like, I'm ready to go home to my own bed. I don't know if it's that kind of situation. I don't know. But oh my God, how scary is that? How scary. And what are the chances that happened, that a predator was out at that time of the morning to just, I feel terrible for the boy's parents. I don't, that they left their child at someone else's home or allowed their child to go to someone else's home and something like this happened at 2:30 in the morning. I can't even imagine getting a phone call of something of the sort because, like I said, honey, I'm doing that prison time, not even county. Okay. Anyway, I wish him a speedy recovery. It is just so devastating, and I can't wrap my mind around it. They did catch the guy. His name is Alex something, as is a long name. He's a Hispanic gentleman, and he's 43 years old. I don't know if he's a sex offender or not. I didn't get that far into it, but if you're interested in the story, you could always Google it. It's right there as soon as you Google it. 12-year-old boy kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and shot. He'll be the first one that comes up. The next one that I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you guys have watched the Epstein documentary, and this documentary on Netflix by far just made me so sick. It was like it was a trigger for me on so many levels. Anyway, his longtime girlfriend or whatever confidant, Maxwell, I can't pronounce her first name, but she's finally indicted on sex charges for paying minors for sex with him and buying lingerie and stuff like that. If I would encourage you to watch the documentary, it is just so disturbing on so many levels. We all know how he ended up, honey, dead in prison. I don't know if he hung himself or somebody did it for him, but either way, he stopped breathing and he's no longer here. It'll be interesting to find out, or it will be interesting as the story develops to know how much she does know and how much she will reveal, or will she just take a plea deal? That way she doesn't have to go to trial and speak about all the dirty deeds of this monster, because he is definitely a monster. He's affiliated with so many rich people, honey. Listen, I just cannot. She definitely needs to spend some time, because I watched the documentary and I saw the girls giving the girls that were giving their statements and stuff like that, and she was definitely a part of this whole shenanigan. So she definitely needs to spend like some straight prison time. And if you know, if it just so happens, and I don't know how women prison works because I've never worked in a women prison, only men prison, but I don't really know how she's going to fare off being in prison, because you know it just doesn't look like her cup of tea. I don't think she would last very long there. So she might meet the same fate as Mr. Epstein. However he met that fate, honey, I don't know, but I'm just saying it might happen. Ain't no telling. The George Floyd trial today, I watched it and it was so emotional. I just had to take a break multiple times. I had to pause my TV multiple times. When Mr. McMillan was there and he was giving his testimony and he was crying, honey, I just could not even like get myself together, okay? It was just absolutely too much for me to like handle. I had to definitely pause, breathe, pace in my room a little bit. It was definitely too much. I am still just, you know, the prosecutor in my eyes right now is winning. The prosecutor is definitely winning at this moment, but it still comes down to the jury. It still comes down to what they vote on based on what the criteria is for these charges that he has, which is unintentional second degree murder, unintentional third degree murder, and manslaughter. So and then after he's found guilty, the judge still has to do his thing. So there's no telling how this thing is going to like move or how it's going to go. So I'm just waiting, and I'll know how I feel when the verdict hits and when the sentencing happens, because he could be found guilty of those things and not given any jail time. I don't know. We'll all have to just wait and see. Anyway, nosy neighbors, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go ahead and follow me. Click your notifications. Definitely give me your feedback. I have some giveaways that's coming up soon. So in my comments, sometimes if you answer a question correctly or something like that in my video, I definitely do a cash app or whatever. I'll pay for your coffee or lunch or something like that. I have some giveaways coming up and I'll tell you about it in my next video. Until next time, toodles.